Dear students, we have seen that there are so many inbuilt things in Mathematica that we can use. We have seen that even we can solve differential equations and delay differential equations using Mathematica. We don't need to write any uh, program for finding numerical solutions. Still, in some cases, we may need to write computer programs. So we discuss basics of computer programming and how Mathematica can be used to write our programs. So there are some basic important things about programming. So what are tools which can be used for programming? First is loop. There are different kinds of loops, but purpose of loop is to perform certain repeated action. Okay. For example, we have some product. Okay, in mathematics, sum and product, these are examples of such loop. Okay, we will explain in details. Okay. And second thing is conditional statement. Frequently used thing is if else. Okay, so if we have certain condition, for example, uh, finding, okay, I'm providing very simple examples. Of course, programming is applicable for higher mathematics. Okay, so suppose we want to check whether given number is even or not. Then what we do, we divide it by 2. If remainder is 0, then we can say that it is even number, else we can say that it is odd number. Okay, so this is simple condition that we can check. Okay, now what are properties of good research program? Okay, writing good program. So writing computer program is art. Okay, so the command should be provided correctly, as well as uh, it should not be time consuming. Okay, it should not consume memory also. Okay, so there are some important things about program. Remember that writing program in Mathematica is simpler than writing program in basic languages such as C language, Fortran language. Okay, so task will be very simple. So we should remember some important things. First is once we computed certain quantity, it should not be computed again. That means we should completely utilize what we have. Okay, so this is efficiency. This will increase efficiency of program. Okay. Second thing, uh, we should not utilize the memory unnecessarily. Okay, so if there is need, then only we should save that thing. Otherwise, we should replace the things. Okay, so whatever is not important to us in the next step, it should be replaced. Okay, that memory space should be replaced. The memory should be made available by replacing the quantities which are not useful in the next steps. Okay, so such programs are efficient. Okay, so this will produce an efficient program. Okay. If we want to write difficult program, then it is better to write algorithm before program. Okay, what is algorithm? Algorithm, you can use notebook and pen to write algorithm. Okay, so you don't need computer, or it is irrespective of software language. Okay, so whatever your software may be, your algorithm will be same. Okay, so we see one example of writing such efficient program, and then we discuss mathematical things. Okay, so example. So of course we take very simple examples during the lecture. Okay, the purpose of taking simple example is to understand the theory, or to understand the respective commands. Okay, that is the only reason. Okay, so once you understand the commands, then you can utilize for difficult examples. Okay, so let us use a series of sine function to approximate it. Okay, so we know sine x is, okay, sine is odd function, we know. Okay, so it is summation minus 1 raised to n x raised to 2n plus 1 divided by 2n plus 1 factorial n equal to 0 to infinity. Okay, this is convergent. Okay, if we want approximate value of sin x, then it is sufficient to take few terms. Okay, because the tail end of this series always tends to 0. Okay, so for example, we may take 100 terms, for example. Okay, So for smaller values of x. Okay. So approximate value is summation minus 1 raised to n x raised to 2n plus 1 divided by 2n plus 1 factorial. N is from 0 to say 100. Okay. So this will produce approximate value. Okay. Now utilize computer to find this finite sum. Okay. In Mathematica, of course, we have summation symbol. Okay. So and there is another thing, that is function sum. In Mathematica, we have the function sum. Okay. This can also be used. Okay. You can search help menu and get more details about this function sum. Okay. So this can be put here. Okay. This is one way, but this will not produce an efficient program. Okay. So let us see why I'm saying that this is not efficient. Okay. Let us consider a general term in this case. So what is ith term? Ith term is minus 1 raised to, for example, it maybe I plus 1th term, doesn't matter. Okay. Minus 1 raised to I x raised to 2i plus 1 divided by 2i plus 1 factorial. Okay. What is the next term? I plus 1th term. It is minus 1 raised to I plus 1 x raised to 2i plus 2 divided by 2i plus 2 factorial. Okay. Or we may take what is 7th term and 8th term. Okay. Let us take 7th and 8th. Okay. So it will be easier to understand. Okay. It is minus 1 raised to, let me take 7 means first term start with n equal to 0. Okay, so this will be 6. Okay, doesn't matter if I take 7. So 6 x raised to 2 into 6, that is 12 plus 1 13 divided by 13 factorial, and 8 term is minus 1 raised to 7 x raised to, now it is 2 into 7 plus 1 15 divided by 15 factorial. Okay. If we use this something, then at 7th step it will compute this, at 8th step it will compute this term. Okay. Now this is not efficient thing. Okay. Because if I am having 13 factorial, then finding 15 factorial again, it will not be good. Okay. What I mean, if I am having 13 factorial, then 15 factorial is 13 multiplied by 4, 13 factorial multiplied by 14 multiplied by 15. Simply. Okay. What is 15 factorial? Once I computed 13 factorial, I should not compute it once again, because I mean 13 factorial means 1 into 2 into 3 into and so on into 13. If I'm already having this, then I should not write 15 factorial as 1 into 2 into 3 into and so on into 13 into 14 into 15. Instead, I should utilize this value. Okay. So I should write here 13 factorial multiplied by 14 multiplied by 15. Okay, this first thing. Second thing, if I'm having x raised to 13, then I should not compute x raised to 15, because if I am using computer for finding x raised to 13, then what is x raised to 13? For computer, it is x into x into x and so on into x. This is 13 times. Okay. So x raised to 15 will be x into x into x and so on 15 times. Okay. If I am having this computation, then I should utilize it. Okay. So my x raised to 15 is x raised to 13 multiplied by x square. Okay. So these two observations are important. Third observation. Okay. Sign is alternating. Okay, whether I am writing x raised to minus 1 raised to 7 or minus 1 raised to 1 doesn't matter. It is same thing. Okay. So minus 1 raised to 6 is plus 1 and minus 1 raised to 7 is minus 1. Okay. So sign changes. Plus minus plus minus. Okay. So actually this is nothing but x minus x cubed by 3 factorial plus x raised to 5 by 5 factorial minus x raised to 7 by 7 factorial plus and so on. Okay. So I should utilize this thing. Okay. So sign is alternate plus and minus. Okay. Now let us see how we are utilizing this. Okay. So first we write down some initial things. Okay, we need to add these things. Okay, first we will have x, then we will have minus x cubed by 3 factorial, then we will add this to x raised to 5 by 5 factorial and so on. Okay, we will continue up to say 100. Okay, so I will take two initial things. First, I will write say sum. Okay, sum. This I will write as x. This is first thing as initial data. Second initial data I need something else. Okay, so I will call it as y. Okay, I will put y to be again x. Okay, and now I will use a loop for this. Okay, it is a repeated operation sum. Okay, so I will use a loop. Okay, for example, I will take for loop. Okay, don't worry, I will explain the syntax of for loop. Okay, so in this loop there is certain starting value. Okay, say n equal to 0, then there will be increment n plus plus means in the next step it will increase the value of n by 1. Okay, alternative way is n equal to n plus 1. Okay, n plus plus is increment. And then third is, okay, whether it is semicolon or comma, it will change with your programming language or software. Okay, for Mathematica we will see the syntax in details. And third thing is body of this loop. In this body what I will second thing is condition. First is starting value, second should be condition. Condition is here I will write condition as n is less than or equal to 100. Okay, and then increment thing is n plus plus. Okay, next value will be 1. First value is 0 initial value, then it will be 1 2 3 up to 100. Okay, now what I will do is I will change the value of y here. Okay, so I'm going to utilize this value. Okay, so at first step y is x, then it will be y equal to, okay, so what I'm doing, I'm multiplying by x square every time. Okay, so this will be my something like y. So I will right? Y equal to y multiplied by x square. Okay, so here I should start from 1. Instead of 0, I will start from 1. Because 0th step is already there. This first term is taken. 0th term is taken. Divided by. There is factorial thing. Okay. So if I'm already having 0 factorial here, okay, y equal to x means x divided by x divided by 1 factorial. Okay, x raised to 1 by 1 factorial. 1 is x means x divided by 1 factorial. Okay, so I will multiply denominator by this thing. What is 14 and 15? It is 2n plus 1 and 2n. Okay. Here I need x raised to 3 by 3 factorial. Okay, but what I will do? I'm having 1 factorial, so I will multiply by 2 and 3. But I will not write here 2 and 3 because it should change with this n loop variable. Okay, so 2 and 3 means 2n plus 1 and 2n. Okay, when n is 1, this is 2 and 3. Okay, I need minus sign also. So what should I do? One way is to write minus 1 raised to n. Okay, but it is also not efficient because minus 1 raised to n means it will unnecessary multiply minus 1 n times. Okay, if my n is 99, then it will multiply minus 1 multiplied by minus 1 multiplied by minus 1 up to 99 times. That is not, I mean, good thing. Okay, so program will not be efficient. So what I have to do? Simply I will put here minus sign. Let us see the magic in the next step. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so this is here I am utilizing the space for y. I change the value of y. Okay, once I am putting here x, then I don't need x once again. Okay, so I'm replacing this space, memory space taken by y. Okay, now y is, what is y in this step? When my n is 1, y is, already my y is x, so this is minus sign x into x square, that is x cube, divided by n is 1, so this is 3 into 2. 3 into 2 means 3 into 2 into 1, 3 factorial. Okay, this is minus x cube by 3 factorial. Okay, this is second term. I'm getting second term, so I should add it to x. So what I will do? I will replace the value of sum to sum equal to sum plus y. Okay, in programming this is possible. Okay, so in usual mathematics we don't write such things. Okay, I cannot write 2 equal to 2 plus y. Okay, so this is not equality. Remember that this is not equality thing. Okay, so y equal to minus y into x square divided by 2n plus 1 into 2n. This is not y equality between y and y. Okay, so same thing here. So what this means, when we are writing program, if I'm writing equal to, I'm assigning right hand side value to left hand side value. Okay, this is assignment. Okay, so whatever on right hand side, it is computed first. Okay, left hand side is not in, not of our interest. First we compute right hand side. Okay, so what is y? Y is x, so it is minus x into x square, that is minus x cube divided by 3 factorial. It is computed first and it will be assigned to y. That means the old value is changed with new value. Similarly, here left hand side will be ignored. Right hand side is computed. Okay, so sum plus y. What is sum plus y? Sum is already there. X. What is y? Y is minus x cube by 3. So what is right hand side? x minus x cube by 3 factorial. Okay, and then this right hand side is assigned to left hand side variable, that is sum. Okay, so old value x is replaced by new value. Okay, when n is 1. Now here loop complete. I mean, this first step of loop completes. Then what happens? Again, increment happens. So n plus plus means n is increased by. Okay. So once we get n equal to 1, then uh, once we have n equal to 1, then test is checked whether n is less than or equal to 100. Okay, whether 1 is less equal to 100. If it is true, then again next step, this body is executed. Okay, so now our n is 2, sorry, n was 1. In the next step, n plus plus means n is equal to n plus 1. So n is now 2. N is now 2. Now what happens? Y equal to minus y into x square. Y, what is y? Y is already having minus sign. So minus into minus x cube by 3 factorial. This is y multiplied by x square divided by 2n plus 1 into 2n. What is n? N is 2. So 2n is 4. 2n plus 1 is 5. So into 4, 5. So what is this? Minus minus. It is plus. So x raised to 5 divided by 3 factorial into 4 into 5. That is 5 factorial. Okay. Now what is sum? It is sum equal to sum plus y. So what is the old value of sum? It is x minus x cube by 3 factorial. Now plus this new value plus y. So plus y means plus x raised to 5 by 5 factorial. Okay, and you can realize that this will continue up to 100, and in the last step you will get required value as sum. Okay, so you may produce the command print sum and complete your program. Okay, so this was very basic example, but the understanding is important. Okay, so once we computed some term, you should not compute again and again. Okay, otherwise straightforward thing, use this sum and put this. Okay, it will take a lot of time. Okay, so this is programming skill. Now let us move to Mathematica things. So I will explain you how to, okay, only basic things will be discussed. The for loop and while loop. Okay, there is do loop also, but we will not discuss that loop. So for loop, while loop, then we discuss conditional statement, if else thing, and then one important thing, that is manipulate. Okay, it is extremely important in uh, studying some behavior. It is important in higher researchers. So let us move to Wolfram Club. First thing is for loop. So syntax, if you don't remember syntax, don't worry, doesn't matter. Just click this I, will get more information about this for loop. Okay, so what is syntax? Syntax is for, then f should be capital, it should be followed by square bracket, start, comma. Okay, there should be comma, not semicolon as I was putting in my notes. Okay, start, comma, test, comma, increment, comma, bot. Okay, so here is simple example. Okay, let us take the same example. Okay, so for we take some variable, for variable I equal to 0. This is starting value, then test I less than 4, then I plus plus, this is called as increment, and comma, body is simply, program is simply printing these numbers. Okay, print I. If we run this, it will produce 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, in the first step I is 0, print I, so 0 is printed. In the next step I is increased by 1, so I is 1. 1 is strictly less than 4, condition is satisfied, so 1 is printed. Okay, in the next step 2 is printed, in the next step 3 is also printed. When I becomes 3, it is printed. Then I will be increased to 1, increased by 1, so I become 4. Now I is not less than 4, 4 is not less than 4, so it will not be printed, so loop will be broken, we will be outside the loop. Okay, so there are so many more things like break thing, continue thing. Okay, so in all programming is there, but we will not discuss all these things. If you are interested, then you can refer to um, very nice book, Let Us See by Yashwant Kanetkar. Okay, so there are so many nice programs that you can try if you are interested in Mathematica programming. Okay, okay, so this book will be helpful. Okay, so here are some other examples also you may try. Okay, so here I equal to 1. So first thing, then t equal to x is given thing, I square is so condition is I square less than 10, I plus plus, t equal to t square plus I. Okay, in the first step t what is t? T is x, so x square plus I is 1. In the next step t becomes 1 plus x square, so it's square. Okay, so t square plus I is 2. Okay, so continue. So another homework is write down the for loop for the program we discussed for sine thing. Okay, so you can take a few steps instead of 100. You may take 10 steps. Okay, but write down that program and check whether your answer is matching with the actual value of sine. I mean, it will be very close to actual value. Okay. Now next is while loop. Okay, so in the for loop we know how many steps we have to perform. Okay, so this is predefined thing. Okay, but in some cases it is not possible. For example, if you are writing program for bisection method in numerical analysis. Okay, in that method you are finding the root of some function. Okay, so what you and you know the interval in which root lies. Okay, so what you do, you divide that interval. Okay, so there are two options, either root is in the left half of that interval or in the right half. Okay, if it is in the left half, then you will again divide left half. Okay, again you will get two sub intervals. Okay, so again two possibilities, root is in the left or right. Okay, so you will check and you will divide the sub interval which is containing that root. Okay, and this process will continue up to the desired thing. Okay, so in that case, you will not know how many steps you have to take. Instead, there will be permissible error. Okay, so what is length of that interval? Okay, if length of interval is 0.1, then permissible error is at most 0.1. Okay, so this may be decided. Okay, so predefined thing is permissible error. For example, error is 10 raised to minus 3. Okay, so your permissible error epsilon is 10 raised to minus 3. So you will divide that interval till the length of subinterval becomes less than or equal to 10 raised to minus 3. Okay, and you will you don't know how many steps you have to take. Okay, in such cases, while loop is useful. Okay, so what is syntax of while loop? Let us see. So syntax is slightly different. While square bracket is there, test comma body. Okay, so it will be executed till the test is true. Okay, so here is important thing. N is equal to 1. This is initial thing given. While n less than 4, print n. Okay, n plus plus. So this is part of body. Increment is part of body, not part of syntax. Okay, so increment is not there. We have to put increment in the body. If we forget to put increment, then loop will be infinite. If you forget to write this n plus plus, then your n is always 1, and it will print n 1 1 1 1. It will continue. Okay, so that will be infinite loop. Okay, so here you are putting increment, and there is test also n less than 4. So it is printing 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so try to write down program for bisection method using while. Okay, and okay, I'm not providing all the details, but of course there are examples. Okay, so you will find more examples. Here is scope. Okay, so you will find these examples, then generalizations, applications. Okay, so here are examples. If you click here, you will find so many applications and more details. In fact, there are tutorials, loops and control structures. Okay, if else thing is also there. Okay, so we will discuss if else, but I suggest you to read these tutorials also, loops and control structures. Okay, so principles of, okay, so here you will find loops and control structures. Okay, so there are neat examples given. Do loop is also discussed. Nesting. Okay, these are higher programming things. Okay, so you may not study all these higher things, but simply for while loop, for loop. Okay, that is also sufficient. So let us move to if else thing, conditional statements. Okay, so there are different types of if else statements in Mathematica, unlike in C language. Okay, so here syntax is if. Okay, so some certain thing is given. If it is true, certain operation can be performed. For example, I'm writing if okay, I should declare something. So I'm declaring say x equal to 4. Okay, and I'm writing if x is less than 10, comma means then what I have to do? I will print something. Print. I want to print some text. If I am printing text, then I should use quotation marks. X less than 10. Okay. So here I know that this first condition is true, so this will be printed. Okay, it is printed. Now I am writing something else. I'm writing say if x is less than 3, print x less than 3. Okay, nothing is provided as output because this is false. Okay, so if I am using only two things, first is condition and second body, then body will be executed. Okay, so x is not less than 3, so this is not printed, nothing happens. Okay, but there is another syntax for if. Okay, I can again put comma and write another thing. Okay, so what I will write? I will write x greater than or equal to. Okay, let us see. Okay, so this is checked x less than 3, is it? No, this is false. So if condition is true, first thing is executed. If it is false, second thing is executed. Okay, so x is greater or equal to. Okay, there is another thing in if else. Sorry, if thing. Okay, so we can have let us see what I am writing. If a is less than 1, print a less than 1. If it is not less than 1, print a greater equal 1. If both these things, I mean, if our statement a less than 1 is neither true nor false, then print error. So what is this neither true nor false? It may happen. Okay, so this if thing is quite flexible. First thing is condition, and later on we can have either one body or two or three. Okay, so if this is true, this body part is executed, otherwise nothing will happen. If there are two things, then if this condition is true, first thing happens, false, second thing happens. Okay, if there are three things, then if this condition is true, we will get first output. If it is false, we get second output. If it is neither true nor false, then we get third output. Let us see. It is providing third thing. Why? Because we have not assigned any value to A. So Mathematica don't know what is A, whether it is less than 1 or greater than 1. So it is neither true nor false. Okay. So similar thing can happen. Okay. So this is flexibility of conditional statement. Okay. Such things are also important. You will find certain demonstrations regarding conditional statements. Okay, let us see. There is website also all from demonstrations. Demonstrations.wolfram.com, where you can find so many examples, basic as well as high. Okay, so if you search here, if Then you will see the details. I should put if. Okay, there are so many things which are provided. Maybe okay, these are higher examples. So maybe we need to refer here core language things. Okay, so here we can use this help menu and check. Okay, so this if thing. Okay, condition TF. Okay, so certain examples are provided. Okay, so you will find examples. Tutorials are also there, conditionals. Okay, so you can find more examples. Okay. Next thing is manipulate, which is graphical user interface in Mathematica. It is very helpful. So let us see basic example, then I will explain the syntax. Okay, suppose I want to sketch the curve sine a plus x, where a is I'm changing the value of a. Okay, sine a plus x. I have to plot sine a plus x. So I will use manipulate. I will write plot sine a plus x, and I'm putting x from say minus 5 to 5. Okay, I'm plotting this, but a will change from say 0 to 10. Okay, so I want a button, okay, so that I can change the value of a using that button and see the changes in that graph. Okay, so here I will put a from 0 to 10 and then run. This will generate an object. Okay, let us see. This is a dynamic thing, so usually it takes time. It depends on network speed. If you have Mathematica software instead, it will not consume more time. Okay. So here you can see plus sign. Just click this. Okay. So this is A. You can drag this. Okay. You can click this and move. Okay. So here you can see the values of A. Now A is 1.43. You can see the change in the graph as we are changing A. As we move value of A from left to right, it seems that graph is moving to left. Okay. So this is very simple. Even without using this component, you can tell the behavior of sine of a plus x. But you may have some difficult thing which is not possible to describe manually. In such case, such manipulate command will be helpful. Okay. So dragging is possible. You can press this plus sign or minus sign. Okay. Even you can put any value here. Okay. Instead of 10, you may put 11 also and press enter. It will provide the thing. Okay. Now, the first value is always this 0. Okay, once we run, the first value is a equal to 0. Okay, but in some cases I may provide the range from 0 to 10, but initial value is different than 0. So what I have to do, I have to put a list for this a. So I will put in this list a comma certain initial value, say 2. So initial value will be 2. Okay, now a, you can check that a is 2, initial value is 2. Okay, now we can have more than one such manipulate variables. Okay, so I will use the same command, I will modify. So I will put here plus b, sign of a plus x plus b. Okay, so what to do here, I will put again comma and put say b from say minus 10 to 10. Okay, so at initial b will be minus 10. Okay, now I can change value of b as well. So if I am changing b, the curve moves up and down. Okay, now you will realize that it is very common experience. Okay, so if I am putting f of x plus b, then it will just simply change the position of curve. Okay, vertically. Okay, so here I need, and maybe I need to write in this plot axis origin. I am writing axis origin to be 0 0, so that you can realize this. Okay, otherwise fine, let us see. Now what happens if I am changing increasing value of b? Okay, curve is going vertically, moving upward. Okay, maybe I need to put plot range on. Okay, fine. So simultaneously we can change value of a, value of b also, and see the thing. Okay, so this is very useful in bifurcation, so-called bifurcation analysis. Okay, we may discuss certain things in third or fourth units. Okay, I think these things in Mathematica are sufficient for our course. Whatever required, we will discuss at that time. Okay, I suggest you to practice all these things in Mathematica so that you will be familiar with this Wolfram Cloud or Mathematica. In case any problem, write to me. Thank you.